But this is a highly effective way to pack on overall size and strength, and it's a method that you really just can't go wrong with. What's up guys, Sean Nalawani, RealScienceAthletics.com, and in this video today, I want to share with you my top recommended progression method to use for hypertrophy training. In my view, it's the most efficient way to increase your overall strength levels, and since size and strength are pretty much directly correlated, it's also going to be the quickest way to gain muscle as well. Now, some people out there will say that it's not important to track your workouts or that progressive overload isn't necessary to build muscle. However, they are wrong. Progressive overload is the underlying driver of the entire muscle building process, and by tracking your workouts objectively, you're going to achieve progressive overload in the most efficient way. So all these programs that you see out there, or maybe even ones that you've purchased, where someone just gives you a workout and says, do 3 sets of 10 reps for each exercise, that is not very helpful since they're not giving you a structured plan on how to move forward with that program and how to progress from week to week in the most efficient way, which is critical when it comes to gaining muscle. Now, before I lay this method out for you, since this video is definitely going to help you make muscle gains at a faster rate, please do me one small favor and help this video make some faster algorithm gains by hitting that like button below and leaving a comment as well. I really do appreciate it. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications as well to stay up to date on all of my future content. So there are a variety of different progression schemes that you can use. They're all effective in their own right. So I'm not saying that this is the only way to do things, but based on my experience and my coaching and on what just makes the most sense, I would say that dynamic double progression is what I would recommend, assuming you're like the vast majority of people watching this, meaning you're not some sort of high-level strength athlete following a reverse autoregulatory undulating GPP wave periodization block cube, whatever thing, trying to get your deadlift from 620 pounds up to 630. Okay, this is for the typical everyday lifter out there who wants to gain muscle, get strong, and have a top, I'd say 1 to 2% physique, but isn't necessarily competing or trying to get to an elite level. You really don't need anything fancy, and you can make basic linear progress and probably build the majority of the muscle you're ever going to build using this one model alone. This is how I've personally been training for the majority of my lifting career. It's actually how I started out training at the age of 13 in my parents' basement with my trusty set of sand-filled Walmart weight plates. But I had no idea back then that it was called dynamic double progression. I didn't even know what double progression was. I just trained this way because it made the most intuitive sense to me. And I've played around with a variety of different approaches over the years, but this is the one that I always come back to because it is very effective and very reliable. So, double progression, what does that mean? Very simply, it just means that you're adjusting 2 different variables as you progress through your training, which are weight and reps. You have a given rep range. Let's use 8 to 10 reps as an example here. And let's say you're doing 3 sets of a given exercise. So your first goal is to train for additional reps with whatever weight you're using. Then once you can hit the upper end of your rep range across all 3 sets, so in this case, it would be 10 reps. You would increase the weight and start the process over again. So maybe it looks something like this as an example. For workout 1, on the first set, you do 100 pounds for 10 reps. Then let's say on the second set, you get 9 reps. And on the third set, 8 reps. Workout number 2, you come back and you do 100 pounds for 10 reps. Then you get 10 reps on the second set this time, and then 9 reps on the third. Now for workout number 3, you do 10 reps across all 3 sets. So now for workout 4, you add 5 to 10 pounds depending on the exercise. And maybe again you do 10 reps, 9 reps, 8 reps, and you just keep progressing forward like this. So you train for reps, and then once you can do 10 reps across all 3 sets, you bump up the weight and you go back to training for reps again. And keep in mind that these rep counts are just examples. The number of reps that you lose or don't lose from set to set, that's going to depend on exactly how hard you're training and your strength levels on any given day. So that's a basic double progression model, okay? Pretty straightforward, and it does work well. Now with dynamic double progression, you're going to do things a little bit differently, and that's that you don't have to hit the upper end of your rep range across all 3 sets before you go ahead and increase the weight. Instead, what you're going to do is maintain the same relative effort level across all 3 sets. What I recommend is about 1 to 2 reps short of failure. If you're thinking in terms of RPE, then that would be an RPE of about 8 to 9. And you're going to use the first set of each exercise as your main gauge for progression. So the first set is the one that you really focus on and that you really use to determine when it's it's time to add more weight. As soon as you can hit the upper end of your rep range on that first set, then the following workout, you'll increase the weight on that first set. And then for the remaining sets of that exercise, you can reduce the weight if necessary in order to stay within your targeted rep range. You don't have to use the same weight across every single set with this approach. So here's an example of what this might look like. Again, we're going to use a rep range of 8 to 10 with 3 sets for the lift. So for workout number 1, you do 100 pounds for 8 reps. And since you're at the bottom end of that 8 to 10 rep range, you decrease the weight slightly to stay within the range. So for set number 2, you do 95 pounds for, say, 9 reps, and then 95 pounds for 8 reps. Workout number 2, you do 100 pounds for 9 reps. And now since you got 9 reps, you can probably get 8 on the second set. And so you stick with 100 pounds and you do 8 reps. Now you're at the bottom end of the range, so you decrease to 95 pounds and you get 9 reps. Workout number 3, you do 100 pounds for 10 reps, then 100 pounds for 9 reps, then 100 pounds for 8 reps. And now for workout 4, since you got 100 pounds for 10 reps on that first set, you increase to 105. Okay, you don't continue using 100 pounds on the other 2 sets and wait until they all reach 10 reps like you would with the previous double progression model. So now you do 105 pounds for 8 reps. You're at the bottom end of the range, so you drop down to 100 pounds for 9 reps and then 100 pounds for 8 reps. Workout number 5, you do 105 pounds for 9 reps, then 105 pounds for 8 reps, and then you drop down to 100 pounds and you do 9 reps. So hopefully you get the idea here. Again, you're using the first set of the exercise as your primary gauge for when to add more weight. And once you can hit the upper end of your rep range on that first set, you increase the weight on the first set for the following workout. And then from there, if you need to drop the weight down slightly on one or both of the following sets, to stay within your targeted rep range, since it's normal to lose a rep or 2 if you're really training hard enough, then that's totally fine. So again, both the basic double progression approach and the dynamic double progression approach, they're both effective, but with the dynamic model, I would say that you'll likely progress faster in the overall picture because you're keeping the relative effort level the same across all of your sets rather than allowing the effort level to drop on the first or second set, or maybe even the third and fourth set if you're doing, say, 4 to 5 sets for an exercise. For example, if you're using the first model and you do 10 reps, 9 reps, 8 reps for workout 1, and then you do 10 reps, 9 reps on workout 2, if you've already done 10 reps on the first set 2 weeks in a row, then I would say that you're leaving progress on the table by once again going back for week 3 and doing the exact same thing on that first set when you are fully fresh and when your strength is at its highest. And you're only leaving that progression to that third and final set. The relative effort on that first set is dropping from week to week as you wait for the subsequent sets to catch up in reps. Whereas with dynamic double progression, you're maintaining the same effort level across all of your sets, and so you can see exactly how your strength is progressing on every set, and you're giving yourself an opportunity across every set to progress. Now, technically, you could use whatever rep range you want for this, but I generally like to use rep ranges that have a gap of 2 reps, so maybe 5 to 7 reps, 6 to 8, 8 to 10, 10 to 12, because usually I find that when you do increase the weight, whether it's 5 to 10 pounds on a compound lift or 2.5 to 5 pounds on an isolation, usually you'll lose about 2 reps with each increase. Not always, that's just a general guideline. You can use larger gaps, that's totally fine, but if you're doing say 6 to 10 reps per set, then when you do get to 10 reps, you can apply a larger weight increase. And also keep in mind that it's not the end of the world if you misjudge things and you end up outside of your targeted rep range slightly. So if your rep range is 6 to 8, and on the first set you lift 200 pounds for 7 reps, and you feel like you can still get 6 on that next set with 200 pounds, and so you stick with that weight, but you only get 5 reps, that's not a big deal. It doesn't have to be perfect. Or if on one workout you do a certain weight for 7 reps, so the following week you come back in with that same weight and you're targeting the upper end of the rep range, so you're aiming for 8 reps. If you just happen to be particularly strong on that day and you're able to get 9, then go for 9. Okay, don't just stop at 8 because your rep range on paper is 6 to 8 reps. The goal is to train 1 to 2 reps short of failure on the majority of your sets, regardless of what you think you should be getting. So this isn't going to be perfect. Okay, it's just a general model. You have a given rep range. Once you hit the upper end of that rep range on the first set, then you increase the weight the next workout on that first set, and then you adjust the weight if necessary on the remaining sets to stay within your targeted rep range. And the whole thing just gradually moves forward over time. It's not the only way of doing this, and as you get more advanced, there are other ways to apply progressive overload besides just adding more weight and more reps, but this is a highly effective way to pack on overall size and strength, and it's a method that you really just can't go wrong with. And if you want to grab a free step-by-step training program from me that you can use to apply this dynamic double progression model to, with all the exercises, sets, and reps mapped out, then you can visit seannell.com/custom, fill out the form on that page, and I'll send you back a custom workout and nutrition plan that you can follow based on your current goals and your condition. You can click up here for that or use the link in the description box below. On the supplementation side of things, you can also visit realscienceathletics.com to check out my science-based, no BS supplements that I personally formulated to help fully streamline your program and maximize your muscle building and your fat burning results. And you can use coupon code YouTube15 to save 15% off your entire first order. You can follow me as well on Instagram for more tips. And as always, make sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe below if you haven't already in order to stay up to date on future videos. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Because you're keeping the relative effort level the same across all of your sets rather than allowing the effort level to drop. What the fuck?